The whispers begin in the shadowed corners of the Topkapi Palace, slithering through silk hangings and echoing in the vast echoing chambers. Imagine, if you will, the seraglio, a labyrinth of opulent chambers, shimmering fountains, and hidden courtyards. A place of breathtaking beauty, yes, but also a gilded cage, its splendor concealing a world of secrets. Here, amidst the fragrant blooms and the murmur of unseen servants, lived the Cooch, the male concubines. Their existence, veiled in mystery, is a tapestry woven with threads of pleasure and pain, of privilege and profound degradation. History offers glimpses, fragments of truth gleaned from hushed conversations, coded diaries, and the wary observations of foreign visitors. Lady Wortley Montagu, a keen observer, noted their presence, hinting at a world both fascinating and disturbing. But the full story, the true extent of their lives, remains largely untold, buried beneath layers of imperial discretion. These were not simply dancers, though their artistry was renowned. They were objects of desire, their bodies sculpted and trained for the gratification of the Sultan and his court. Their beauty, their skill, their very essence were commodities, traded in the shadowy marketplace of the harem. The opulent setting masks the brutal reality, the power dynamics, the inherent vulnerability, the systematic exploitation. Their stories are a chilling testament to the abuse of power, the corruption of the body, and the enduring silence surrounding the most vulnerable. The eunuchs, gatekeepers of this hidden world, held sway over their lives, their influence extending beyond the confines of the harem walls into the corridors of political power. Their whispers, too, held weight, their silence a currency as valuable as gold. The lives of the Cooch, their hopes, their fears, their dreams, all played out under the watchful gaze of those who controlled their fate. Their stories are not just a footnote in Ottoman history, they are a haunting reminder of the fragility of human life and the enduring darkness that lurks beneath even the most dazzling surfaces. The whispers from the seraglio, once hushed and suppressed, must now find their voice. The eunuchs, their presence, a constant shadow within the harem walls, looms larger than life itself. Castrated, their bodies rendered incomplete, their desires twisted into a grotesque parody of masculinity, they wielded a power disproportionate to their physical state. They were the guardians, the gatekeepers, the silent arbiters of fate within the seraglio's intricate web of intrigue. Consider the Kuzlar Asa, the chief eunuch, a figure whose influence extended far beyond the harem's confines. He controlled the lives of hundreds, his word law, his favor a precious commodity. He could elevate a Cooch to the Sultan's attention or consign him to oblivion with a single gesture. His power was absolute, a chilling reminder of the capricious nature of authority. But the eunuchs were not monolithic. Their ranks were stratified, a hierarchy of power reflected in their roles and influence. Some served as protectors, their loyalty a shield against the more brutal aspects of court life. Others, however, reveled in their authority, using their position to extract favors, inflict punishments, and manipulate the lives of those under their control. The Cooch, vulnerable and dependent, were particularly susceptible to their whims. The eunuchs' own experiences contributed to their often ruthless demeanor. Their physical and emotional scars, the result of brutal castration, created a landscape of bitterness and resentment. This fostered a culture of control and manipulation, a desperate attempt to exert power in a world where they were deemed incomplete. Their silence, often perceived as stoicism, concealed a complex tapestry of emotions from quiet resignation to simmering rage. Their gaze, fixed and unwavering, held the weight of untold stories, the secrets whispered within the harem walls. These men, stripped of their masculinity by the cruel hand of fate, became the keepers of other men's vulnerabilities. Their power was a double-edged sword, capable of both protection and destruction. The line between guardian and tormentor blurred, leaving a trail of broken lives in its wake. The eunuch's story, like that of the Cooch, reveals a darker side to imperial power, a reminder that even within the gilded cages of luxury, cruelty and exploitation can flourish. The whispers of their influence continue to echo through the centuries, a chilling testament to the enduring darkness of the human heart. The path to becoming a Cooch was rarely one of choice. For many, it was a descent into a life of servitude, a fate sealed by poverty and desperation. Imagine the plight of a young boy, snatched from the precarious embrace of his family, his future stolen before he even understood its value. He was a commodity, his body a vessel for the desires of the powerful. Social and economic factors played a crucial role in the recruitment of these boys. Poverty-stricken families, desperate to escape the clutches of hunger and hardship, sometimes offered their sons as a means of survival. It was a chilling transaction, a trade of innocence for a fleeting promise of security. This was not a voluntary path. It was a forced servitude, a cruel bargain struck in the shadows of desperation. The power imbalance was absolute. These young boys, barely more than children, were thrust into a world where their bodies and their very identities were molded to fit the desires of those in power. Their agency was stripped away, their voices silenced beneath the weight of societal expectations and the brutal realities of their confinement. They were trained, their bodies sculpted, their movements refined, all for the pleasure of the elite. Their artistry, their grace, their very essence were transformed into tools of gratification. The selection process itself was shrouded in secrecy, a clandestine operation conducted far from the prying eyes of the outside world. The stories of their recruitment are whispers carried on the wind, fragments of truth gleaned from scattered accounts, hinting at a system both cruel and efficient. These boys, snatched from the safety of their homes, were stripped of their identities and forced into a world where their value was solely determined by their physical attributes and their capacity to please. Their fate was sealed not by their own choices, but by the circumstances of their birth and the ruthless machinisms of a system that valued pleasure above all else. The silence surrounding their origins only amplifies the horror of their plight. The Cooch's art was a carefully crafted illusion, a seductive dance between entertainment and exploitation. Their performances were not merely displays of skill. They were acts of calculated manipulation, a subtle game of power played out under the guise of artistic expression. Imagine the flickering candlelight illuminating their graceful movements, their bodies a canvas of controlled sensuality. The music, a haunting melody, underscored the eroticism of their dance, weaving a spell that captivated and enthralled their audience. Their training was rigorous, demanding years of dedication and discipline. Every gesture, every glance, every subtle shift in posture was meticulously choreographed, honed to perfection. The Cooch were masters of their art, capable of evoking a range of emotions from longing and desire to melancholy and despair. Their performances were a testament to their skill, but also a chilling reminder of the control exerted over their bodies. The seductive nature of their art was undeniable. Their dances were a carefully constructed performance of femininity, a deliberate blurring of gender lines. This ambiguity was both their strength and their vulnerability. It was a source of fascination for the powerful men who watched them, a means of fueling their desires and reinforcing their sense of dominance, but the performances were also a form of control. The Cooch's bodies, meticulously trained and presented, were instruments of pleasure, their art a means of manipulating the emotions and desires of those in power. Their movements, seemingly spontaneous, were carefully designed to evoke specific responses, to ignite passions, and fuel fantasies. Their very existence was a performance, a carefully constructed facade concealing the pain and exploitation beneath. The applause that followed their performances was a hollow echo, masking the silent suffering that lay hidden beneath the surface. The art of the Cooch was a double-edged sword, a source of beauty and a tool of control, a testament to the complexities of power, desire, and exploitation in the Ottoman court. Their dance was a silent scream, a testament to the human cost of imperial pleasure. The sexual dynamics within the Ottoman court were a tangled web of power and vulnerability, a tapestry woven with threads of coercion, transaction, and fleeting moments of intimacy. For the Cooch, The line between performance and reality blurred, their bodies often subjected to the desires of those who held power. The Sultan, at the apex of this hierarchy, held the ultimate authority, his desires shaping the lives of those around him. His attention could elevate a Kochek to a position of relative privilege or condemn him to obscurity. But the Sultan was not the only one who wielded power. Court officials and wealthy patrons also held sway, their influence extending into the lives of these young men. Relationships were often transactional, a precarious balance of favors and expectations. The Kochek, stripped of their agency, were forced to navigate this treacherous landscape, their bodies and affections bartered for protection, privilege, or simply survival. Forced intimacy was a chilling reality, a constant threat looming over their existence. The spectrum of relationships ranged from the brutal imposition of the Sultan's will to the carefully calculated exchanges with influential patrons. There were moments of fleeting affection, perhaps, but these were always overshadowed by the inherent power imbalance. The Kochek remained fundamentally powerless, their desires and agency consistently disregarded. Their bodies were commodities, traded and exchanged within the court's intricate power structures. The intimacy they experienced was often tainted by coercion, a stark reminder of their vulnerability and the brutal reality of their existence. Their stories, whispered in hushed tones, paint a picture of lives lived on the edge of despair, where pleasure and pain intertwined, and the shadows of the harem held secrets too dark to bear. The intimacy they experienced was not of their choosing, a chilling testament to the abuse of power and the crushing weight of vulnerability. The dance of desire within the Ottoman court was not one of equality, but a brutal display of dominance and submission. The price of beauty, in this gilded cage, was exacted in flesh and spirit. The constant performance, the relentless demands on their bodies, left the Kochek physically and emotionally scarred. Imagine the aching muscles, the weary limbs, the toll of endless rehearsals and performances. Their bodies, once youthful and vibrant, became instruments of pleasure, worn and depleted by the relentless demands of their masters. The elegance of their movements masked a deeper weariness, a profound exhaustion that settled in their bones. Sexual exploitation left its indelible mark, not just on their bodies, but on their very souls. The violation of their personhood, the repeated intrusions into their most intimate selves, left deep psychological wounds. The constant fear, the ever-present threat of violence or abandonment, created a climate of perpetual anxiety. Their smiles, carefully crafted for the eyes of the powerful, concealed a landscape of emotional turmoil. The restrictive conditions under which they lived further amplified their suffering. Deprived of genuine human connection, isolated from the outside world, they existed in a state of perpetual confinement. Their identities, shaped and molded by the whims of those in power, were stripped away. The constant surveillance, the lack of privacy, eroded their sense of self, leaving them feeling alienated and adrift. The psychological consequences were devastating. Many succumbed to depression, despair, and a profound sense of worthlessness. Their inner lives, shrouded in secrecy, were battlefields of trauma and suppressed emotions. The silence surrounding their experiences only exacerbated their pain, leaving them isolated in their suffering. The gilded cage of the Ottoman court was a prison of the body and soul, and the Kochek were its silent, suffering inhabitants. Their stories, though whispered and obscured, speak volumes of the devastating human cost of unchecked power and the enduring scars of exploitation. Their beauty was a mask, hiding a pain too deep to be seen. Beyond the glittering facade of the court, beyond the carefully orchestrated performances, lay the hidden lives of the Kochek lives, filled with longing, resilience, and desperate attempts to find solace in the face of overwhelming oppression. Their personal relationships, forged in the crucible of shared suffering, offered glimpses of genuine human connection. These bonds, often clandestine and fragile, provided a measure of comfort and support in a world that consistently sought to dehumanize them. They found strength in shared experiences, in whispered confidences, in acts of mutual kindness that defied the cruelty of their surroundings. Despite the constraints of their enslavement, they harbored aspirations, dreams of freedom, of a life beyond the confines of the harem walls. These dreams, nurtured in secret, offered a flicker of hope amidst the darkness, a testament to their indomitable spirit. They sought moments of escape, however fleeting, clinging to small joys that pierced the veil of despair. A stolen moment of laughter, a shared secret, a glimpse of the outside world, these were the precious commodities that sustained them. Their attempts to find joy and escape were often fragile and precarious. The constant threat of discovery, the ever-present fear of punishment, cast a shadow over their lives. Yet, even in the face of such adversity, their human spirit persevered. They found solace in art, in music, in the shared rituals and traditions that connected them to a wider world, even as they remained trapped within the confines of the palace. Their hidden lives, though often shadowed by pain and hardship, were also punctuated by moments of resilience, of human connection, of a desperate longing for something more. These hidden lives, like flickering candles in the dark, reveal the strength and resilience of the human spirit, even in the face of unimaginable cruelty. The whispers of the seraglio reached far beyond its walls, carried on the winds to the ears of European travelers and diplomats. Their accounts, penned with a mixture of fascination and judgment, offer a glimpse into the lives of the Cooch, though filtered through the lens of their own cultural biases. Lady Mary Wortley Montagu, for instance, described the performances with a mixture of awe and apprehension, highlighting the beauty and skill of the dancers while simultaneously hinting at the underlying power dynamics. These foreign gazes, however, must be interpreted cautiously. The observers often viewed the Cooch through a framework of their own societal norms, often failing to grasp the complexities of Ottoman gender and sexual identities. Their accounts, while valuable, are often tinged with Orientalist tropes, reducing the Cooch to exotic curiosities rather than fully formed human beings. The descriptions, while vividly rendered, often lack the nuance necessary to fully comprehend the lived experiences of these individuals. Yet, despite their limitations, these accounts offer important insights. They provide corroborating evidence for the existence of the Cooch, their role in the court, and the nature of their performances. They illuminate the perceptions of outsiders, revealing the ways in which the Cooch were viewed and understood within a different cultural context. By carefully analyzing these narratives, acknowledging their biases, and comparing them to other historical sources, we can begin to piece together a more complete, albeit still fragmented, picture of their lives. The foreign gaze, while imperfect, provides a crucial external perspective on a world largely hidden from view. These fragmented accounts, like shards of a shattered mirror, reflect back a distorted yet ultimately revealing image of a hidden reality. The whispers of the seraglio, however, are not solely confined to the accounts of foreign observers. Delving into the Ottoman archives, into the official records and private correspondences, allows us to approach the truth from a different angle, to hear the echoes of a different voice. These documents, often fragmented and incomplete, provide a counterpoint to the European narratives, offering glimpses into the lives of the Cooch from within the system itself. Official records, while often sanitized and carefully curated, reveal details about the organization of the harem, the roles of the eunuchs, and the legal status of the Cooch. They reveal the complex web of power dynamics that govern their lives, the subtle mechanisms of control and exploitation that were built into the very fabric of the court. These documents, though lacking the emotional depth of personal accounts, offer a crucial framework for understanding the socio-political context in which the Cooch existed. Comparing these official documents with other historical sources' personal letters, diaries, and even court gossip reveals a more nuanced and often contradictory picture. Discrepancies emerge, challenging the simplistic narratives offered by both European observers and the official Ottoman record. These inconsistencies highlight the limitations of historical sources, reminding us that the past is never a monolithic entity, but rather a complex tapestry woven from fragmented threads of evidence. By carefully piecing together the evidence from various sources, we begin to construct a more complete, if still incomplete, understanding of the lives of the Cooch. The Ottoman records, when read alongside the accounts of foreign travelers, offer a richer, more complex, and ultimately more disturbing portrait of a hidden world of beauty, power, and profound human suffering. The truth, like a dimly lit labyrinth, reveals itself slowly, its secrets guarded by the shadows of the past. The opulent tapestry of the Ottoman court concealed a web of intricate power struggles, and within this treacherous landscape, the Kochek were often pawns in a deadly game. Their beauty, their skills, their very vulnerabilities were exploited by those who sought to gain influence and consolidate their power. The elite eunuchs, gatekeepers of the harem and wielders of considerable influence, were particularly adept at manipulating these young men for their own ends. These powerful eunuchs, often castrated at a young age, occupied a unique position within the court. Their physical condition, paradoxically, granted them access to spaces and influence unavailable to other men. They acted as intermediaries between the sultan and the outside world, controlling access to the ruler and whispering secrets in the corridors of power. This position of privilege allowed them to manipulate the Kochek, using them as tools to curry favor with the sultan, to blackmail rivals, or to secure their own advancement. The Kochek, caught in the crossfire of these political machinations, were often forced to choose between obedience and defiance, between survival and self-preservation. Their loyalty was bought and sold, their affections manipulated, their bodies used as instruments of political leverage. The whispers of intrigue that snaked through the palace walls were often laced with the unspoken suffering of these young men, their destinies intertwined with the fate of empires. The elegant dances, the seductive performances, were not merely entertainment but subtle acts of political maneuvering, each movement carefully orchestrated to serve the needs of the powerful. The seemingly innocuous beauty of the court, therefore, masked a brutal reality. The Kochek, trapped in this web of political intrigue, were victims of a system that valued power and control above all else, their lives reduced to mere pawns in a ruthless game played out in the shadows of the imperial palace. The candlelight that illuminated their performances also cast long, menacing shadows, revealing the darker aspects of power and the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition. The Sultan's favor, a fleeting and capricious thing, could offer a fragile shield against the harsher realities of life within the seraglio. A smile, a gesture, a whispered word from the ruler could elevate a Kochek from obscurity to a position of relative privilege, offering a temporary reprieve from the constant threat of exploitation. Yet, this favor, like a double-edged sword, often led to an even greater vulnerability. The Sultan's attention, while seemingly benevolent, could also attract the envy and resentment of other powerful figures within the court. Those who sought to diminish the Sultan's favorites often used intrigue and violence to eliminate rivals. The Kochek, who found themselves in the Sultan's good graces, were often thrust into the center of these dangerous power struggles, becoming targets for those who sought to undermine their influence. Furthermore, the Sultan's favor was often fickle and unreliable. The whims of the ruler could change in an instant, and what was once a position of privilege could quickly turn into a sentence of neglect, or even worse. The Kochek, accustomed to the intoxicating power of royal attention, were often left utterly devastated when the Sultan's affections shifted elsewhere, their lives reduced to a precarious dance between hope and despair. This precarious existence, constantly balanced on the razor's edge of royal favor, reveals the inherent instability and danger of life within the Ottoman court. The seemingly glittering world of the Sultan's harem was, in reality, a treacherous landscape where even the most favored could find themselves cast into the shadows, their lives abruptly extinguished by the capricious whims of those in power. The Sultan's attention, therefore, was both a source of hope and a harbinger of destruction, a double-edged sword that could elevate and destroy with equal ease. The lives of the Kochek, even those touched by the fleeting warmth of royal favor, were tragically short. Disease, a constant threat within the crowded and often unsanitary confines of the palace, claimed many victims. The relentless pressure of courtly life, the emotional toll of constant exploitation, and the ever-present fear of violence further shortened their already precarious lifespans. The mortality rate amongst the Cooch was undoubtedly high, a grim testament to the harsh realities of their existence. Many succumbed to illness, their bodies weakened by years of abuse and neglect. Others met more violent ends, victims of palace intrigue, the jealousy of rivals, or the capricious cruelty of those in power. Their deaths, often undocumented and unmourned, served as a constant reminder of the fragility of life within the seraglio's gilded cage. Even those who managed to escape the immediate dangers of the palace often found their lives cut short by the lingering effects of their traumatic experiences. The psychological scars of abuse and exploitation, the constant fear and insecurity, took their toll, leading to premature aging and a host of physical and mental ailments. Their stories, often untold, ended not with a triumphant escape, but with a quiet, premature death, their lives extinguished before their time. The brief candle of their existence flickered and died in the shadows of the palace, leaving behind only faint echoes of their beauty, their talent, and their unspeakable suffering. Their fate serves as a chilling reminder of the human cost of power, the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition, and the enduring legacy of oppression. Their lives, though tragically short, leave an indelible mark on the history of the Ottoman Empire, a silent testament to the brutal realities hidden beneath the glittering surface of imperial power. The silence surrounding the lives of the Cooch is a chilling testament to the power of historical erasure. Their stories, intentionally obscured and suppressed, have been largely absent from mainstream narratives of the Ottoman Empire. This deliberate silencing, born from a combination of social stigma, political expediency, and the inherent secrecy of the harem, has created a significant gap in our understanding of this complex historical period. The challenges in reconstructing their experiences are immense. Official records, often biased and incomplete, offer only fragmented glimpses into their lives. Eyewitness accounts, while valuable, are often filtered through the lens of cultural prejudice and personal agendas. The very nature of their existence, shrouded in secrecy and shame, makes the task of piecing together their stories a painstaking and often frustrating process. The reasons for this historical silence are multifaceted. The social stigma attached to male concubinage, even within the context of the Ottoman Empire's relatively tolerant attitudes toward same-sex relations, ensured that the Cooch's experiences remained largely hidden. Political considerations further compounded the problem, with powerful figures actively seeking to suppress any narratives that might undermine their authority or expose the darker aspects of courtly life. The result is a profound and enduring silence, a historical void that speaks volumes about the power dynamics that shaped the Ottoman world. Uncovering their experiences, however, is not merely an academic exercise. It is a crucial act of remembrance, a way of giving voice to those who were silenced. By unearthing their stories, we confront the uncomfortable truths about power, exploitation, and the enduring legacy of oppression. We shed light on the human cost of empire and the enduring struggle for recognition and justice. The whispers of their forgotten lives deserve to be heard. The shadows of the Ottoman harem extend far beyond the walls of Topkapi Palace. The exploitation of the Cooch resonates chillingly with contemporary issues of human trafficking, child exploitation, and the abuse of power. The parallels are stark and unsettling, a grim reminder that the darkest aspects of human nature transcend time and geography. The vulnerability of impoverished children forced into servitude and subjected to unimaginable cruelty mirrors the plight of the young boys who were thrust into the world of male concubinage. The coercive nature of their recruitment, the systematic stripping away of their identity and agency, echo the practices of modern-day human traffickers. The use of their bodies as commodities, traded for fleeting moments of pleasure and power, finds its grotesque counterpart in the contemporary sex trade. The role of powerful patrons, whether sultans or modern-day elites, further reinforces this disturbing connection. The abuse of power, the exploitation of vulnerability, and the complicity of those who benefit from such systems remain constant across centuries. The opulent facade of wealth and privilege, masking the suffering of those beneath, is a recurring theme in both historical and contemporary contexts. Understanding the history of the Cooch, therefore, is not merely an academic pursuit, It serves as a crucial lens through which to examine contemporary forms of exploitation and abuse. By acknowledging the enduring relevance of this historical context, we can better understand the mechanisms of power that perpetuate such injustices. The echoes of the past should serve as a warning, a call to action to confront these enduring evils, and to ensure that the suffering of the Cooch is not forgotten, but serves as a testament to the importance of fighting for justice and human rights in every era. The darkness persists, cloaked in different forms, but its essence remains disturbingly familiar. The shadow of the harem stretches into the present day, its darkness manifesting in countless forms of contemporary exploitation. The vulnerability of marginalized communities, particularly children, remains a fertile ground for abuse, echoing the systemic issues that enable the exploitation of the Cooch. The global sex trade, fueled by demand and enabled by corruption, thrives on the desperation and poverty that trap countless individuals in cycles of violence and despair. Consider the plight of children forced into labor, their bodies and spirits broken under the weight of relentless toil. Think of the young girls and boys trafficked across borders, their innocence stolen, their futures shattered. These are not isolated incidents, they are the grim realities of a world where power imbalances and economic disparities create fertile ground for exploitation. The parallels with the Cossacks' experiences are stark, a chilling reminder that the mechanisms of oppression remain remarkably consistent across centuries. The digital age has introduced new dimensions to this age-old problem. Online platforms, initially conceived as tools for connection and communication, have become avenues for exploitation, facilitating the trafficking of children and the spread of harmful content. The anonymity afforded by the Internet allows predators to operate with impunity, preying on the vulnerable and masking their actions behind layers of digital obfuscation. The fight against these modern forms of exploitation requires sustained vigilance and collective action. We must confront the systemic issues that enable such abuses, dismantling the networks of corruption and addressing the root causes of poverty and inequality. The lessons learned from studying the history of the Cooch are not merely historical curiosities, they are vital tools in our ongoing struggle against injustice. Their silenced voices must serve as a constant reminder of the enduring need for vigilance and the urgent necessity of safeguarding the vulnerable. The darkness persists, but it is not invincible. The task of recovering the lost voices of the Cooch is a delicate and ongoing process, a testament to the enduring power of remembrance. Historians and scholars are painstakingly piecing together fragments of their stories, sifting through archives, interpreting fragmented accounts, and seeking to reconstruct their experiences from the shadows of history. This meticulous work, often fraught with challenges and uncertainties, is essential to giving voice to those who were silenced. Artistic expression plays a vital role in this process of recovery and remembrance. Through novels, plays, films, and other creative mediums, artists are giving shape and substance to the lives of the Cooch, breathing life into their stories and allowing audiences to connect with their experiences on an emotional level. These artistic interpretations, while necessarily informed by historical research, also provide a space for empathy and imagination, allowing us to envision the rich inner lives and complex personalities of these individuals. Public awareness campaigns are also crucial in ensuring that the story of the Cooch is not forgotten. By raising awareness of their plight, we can foster a deeper understanding of the historical context in which they lived and the enduring relevance of their experiences. These campaigns serve as a reminder of the importance of fighting against all forms of exploitation and oppression, and of the need to protect vulnerable individuals from abuse. Remembering and honoring the experiences of the Cooch is not simply an act of historical preservation. It is an act of justice. It is a way of acknowledging their suffering, their resilience, and their enduring humanity. Their stories serve as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the destructive consequences of power imbalances and the importance of safeguarding the vulnerable against exploitation. By keeping their memory alive, we ensure that their suffering is not in vain, and that their voices, though long silenced, finally find their way into the light. Their legacy must serve as a beacon, illuminating the darkness and guiding us towards a more just and equitable future. The opulent facade of the Ottoman court concealed a brutal reality for the Cooch, a reality that left an indelible mark on their psyches. The systematic exploitation they endured, the violation of their bodies and spirits, inflicted deep and lasting trauma. The constant fear, the precariousness of their existence, the ever-present threat of violence and abandonment, these were not merely historical facts, they were lived experiences that shaped their inner worlds, leaving scars that extended far beyond the physical. The psychological impact of their forced servitude cannot be overstated. The loss of identity, the forced adoption of roles that contradicted their true selves, the constant negotiation of their bodies as commodities, all contributed to a profound sense of alienation and dispossession. The intimacy they were forced to offer was a betrayal of their own desires and a violation of their personhood. The emotional toll was immense, leaving many struggling with feelings of shame, guilt, and self-loathing. The absence of agency, the inability to control their own lives and destinies, further compounded their suffering. The precariousness of their existence, dependent entirely on the whims of their masters, instilled a deep-seated sense of insecurity and vulnerability. This constant state of anxiety, coupled with the systematic denial of their basic human rights, created a climate of fear and despair that permeated every aspect of their lives. The silence surrounding their experiences, the social stigma associated with their roles, further exacerbated their psychological suffering. The inability to speak openly about their pain, to share their struggles with others, left them isolated and alone in their suffering. This enforced silence served to perpetuate the cycle of abuse, ensuring that their voices remained unheard, their stories untold. Recognizing and acknowledging this complex emotional legacy is crucial to understanding the full scope of their suffering and to ensuring that their experiences are not erased from history. The weight of their secrets must be lifted, their pain acknowledged, and their resilience celebrated. The story of the Cooch is not merely a historical footnote. It is a chilling testament to the enduring nature of power imbalances and the human cost of oppression. Their experiences resonate deeply with contemporary discussions of exploitation, highlighting the systemic issues that continue to plague societies across the globe. The vulnerability of marginalized communities, the insidious nature of abuse, and the enduring legacy of trauma, these are themes that transcend time and geography. The Cooch story serves as a stark reminder of the ways in which power can be wielded to control and exploit others. The systematic silencing of their voices, the deliberate erasure of their history, underscores the insidious nature of oppression and the lengths to which those in power will go to maintain their dominance. Their silenced cries echo through the ages, a haunting reminder of the human cost of unchecked authority. The parallels between the historical exploitation of the Cooch and contemporary forms of human trafficking are undeniable. Both involve the commodification of human bodies, the violation of individual rights, and the systematic abuse of vulnerable populations. The enduring nature of these practices highlights the need for sustained vigilance and collective action to combat exploitation in all its forms. The Cooch story also raises crucial questions about gender, sexuality, and identity. Their experiences challenge traditional notions of masculinity and femininity, forcing us to confront the complexities of human desire and the fluidity of identity. Their lives, lived on the margins of society, offer a glimpse into the diverse and often hidden expressions of human experience. The legacy of the Cooch is not one of despair, however. It is also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the capacity for hope and resistance in the face of overwhelming adversity. Their story is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit endures, finding strength in shared experiences and unwavering hope for a better future. Their story compels us to remember, to learn, and to act, ensuring that their suffering is not in vain and that their voices, finally, are heard. The flickering candlelight casts long shadows, mirroring the obscured lives of the Cooch, their stories whispered on the wind, a haunting echo in the grand halls of the Ottoman Empire's past. Their existence, shrouded in secrecy and silence, remains a poignant testament to the enduring power of oppression and the fragility of human life. The opulent tapestry of courtly life concealed a brutal reality, a stark contrast between dazzling spectacle and hidden suffering. Their sacrifices, often unseen and unheard, remain a chilling reminder of the human cost of unchecked power. The gilded cages of the seraglio concealed lives marked by exploitation, vulnerability, and a constant struggle for survival. The fleeting moments of beauty and artistry, the captivating dances that enthralled the powerful, were but a fragile veneer, masking the deeper wounds inflicted upon their bodies and souls. Their stories, fragments pieced together from scattered accounts and fragmented memories, remain a haunting puzzle, a testament to the enduring mystery that surrounds their lives. Each recovered detail, each unearthed fragment of their existence, brings us closer to understanding the profound tragedy of their fate, the hidden sacrifices that sustained the glittering facade of the Ottoman court. The whispers of their lives, carried on the wind through time, demand our attention. Their stories are not merely historical relics. They are a potent reminder of the enduring vulnerability of marginalized communities, a cautionary tale against the abuse of power, and a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. Let us remember their hidden sacrifices. Let us honor their untold stories. Let us ensure that their memory burns as brightly as the candle's flame, illuminating the darkness and guiding us towards a more just and equitable future. The shadows cast by the Ottoman Empire's opulent past linger, obscuring yet hinting at the untold stories of the Cooch. Their plight, though distant in time, holds a chilling relevance to our present. The echoes of their suffering serve as a stark reminder of the enduring vulnerability of marginalized communities and the ever-present threat of exploitation. Their story demands continued investigation, a relentless pursuit of truth that unearths the hidden narratives buried beneath layers of historical silence. The legacy of the Cooch is not merely one of tragedy, it is also a call to action. Their experiences underscore the need for ongoing research, for a deeper understanding of the systemic forces that perpetuate inequality and oppression. We must strive to illuminate the dark corners of history, to give voice to the silenced, and to ensure that their stories are not forgotten. The fight against human trafficking, against the exploitation of vulnerable populations, is a direct descendant of the struggles faced by the Cooch. Their story serves as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked power and the urgent need for collective action. Let their memory serve as a catalyst for change, a driving force in our efforts to combat modern forms of slavery and to protect the most vulnerable among us. The task before us is not merely one of historical remembrance, it is a commitment to the future. A future where the lessons learned from the Cooch experiences are not merely acknowledged but actively applied in our ongoing efforts to prevent similar forms of exploitation. Their silent screams must become a rallying cry, a testament to the enduring power of human resilience, and a driving force in our collective pursuit of a more just and equitable world. Let their story be a constant reminder of the shadows that still linger and the light we must strive to shine upon them.